Hey everybody, it's me, Speed Force Spector,
And I'm Geek What?
and we're doing another Fandom is Magic this week
Woo-woo.
whenever this gets uploaded or whatever time you're watching it.
Right on. Yeah. And we are going to be talking about the Netflix and their loss of subscribers. And I chose an article from Variety. I like Variety. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. But yeah, so this is a little bit older just because, we're both busy. But so we're gonna get started on this. So it starts. The column is written by Owen Gilbert. I don't know. All right. So it says, okay. Pretend it was 1 year ago when the streaming revolution, stroked by the pandemic. When is a pandemic good for business? When your business depends on people staying home. Was feeling the first flush of being the new paradigm that ate the world, and pretend in that spring of 2021 that you'd been asked to imagine how a film industry headline from the future might read. You'd probably have predicted something like this: for the first time ever, Oscar nominee comes from a streaming service. Or maybe this: movie theaters still here, but no longer driving the action. Um, it's kind of a dynamic start. And then it says you probably would not have come up with something like this. Netflix buys Alejandro G. Icantaros Bardo, plans global theatrical release. I don't know what that is.
I don't know
Um,
either.
yeah. It says, but that's the headline that ran on April 27th in Variety. Netflix has bestowed token theatrical runs before in The Irishman, Roma, and The Power of the Dog. I'm sure we'll get to the subscriber part. Just give it 2 seconds. But not with a 6 month before the fact headline trumpeted a global theatrical release. Sorry, but that is not on brand for Netflix. That particular headline was not about the shocking attrition of Netflix's subscriber base. The fact that the company lost 200,000 subscribers in Q1 and expects to lose another 2 million in Q2. Can I just first ask you, what do you think about those numbers? Like 200,000 in the first
Like
quarter.
that's a lot.
It is a lot. And then 2 million in the second quarter. That's like so many.
Yeah.
And it says, yet those stats reported the week before were effect the deep background for the news about Netflix's commitment to giving Bardo a full-scale theatrical release. Both headlines were broadcasting different aspects of the same thing. That there are now powerful countervailing forces in the streaming revolution. Did you hear anything about about this Bardo movie? I don't know what they're talking
Nah, I
about
didn't
with
even
this
I
one.
didn't hear a word about that.
All right, well, we'll just skip over whatever they're talking about that. Why did the loss of Netflix's subscribers happen? A perfect storm of reasons led by the war in Ukraine. Netflix cut services in Russia, but also driven by the fundamental fact that Netflix now exists in the hyper competitive world it created, i.e., the rise of streamers like Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, and HBO Max. There is also the reality of the password sharing, but that sounds in the scheme of things like a rather desperate retaliation. The reasons matter, but the upshot is that as Netflix has navigated what is arguably the worst crisis in its 25-year history, the image of Netflix as the unstoppable locomotive of the new age of the entertainment industry took a major hit, which is very true. Before we go on with this article, can I ask you, how many streaming services do you have?
Um, Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Hulu, and Tubi. So I have about five.
Yeah, see, me and my household, we cut it down to
Oh, and
three.
Paramount Plus.
Oh, right on. See, I used to have Paramount Plus, but now we only have three. We have the Disney Plus, Netflix, and HBO Max. Um, because that crap is expensive, especially Netflix and HBO Max. They're the most expensive.
Luckily, I have a really chill friend who's like letting me use them. So
Right on. Let's see, where was I in this article? Oh, a major hit. And if those headlines provide the words, then last week's CinemaCon, the annual gathering of the motion picture theater industry, added the music of all it of all it coming together in a hit single that went like this: "Movie theaters are back, baby." You know, they really need to stop putting all this like grandeur in this and just get to
yeah,
the
just get
point,
to the
because
point.
yeah, this is very much like well, it's kind of annoying me, but anyways, okay. Not that they'd ever gone away, but the fading of the movie theaters, the decay of the theater experience, and yes, the potential death of movie theaters has over the last 2 years become the most threatening specter haunting the motion picture business since the rise of television in the 1950s. At moments, it has struck terror in the hearts of just about everyone who loves this industry, and that's because it's all about the unknown. But it is also, of course, about what everybody knows, at least in their movie going reptile brain, which is that people sitting at home watching a first run movie on television is quite simply a bad business plan. Since it's a plan based on downgrading the fundamental magic of the product itself, making it less exciting, less essential, less mythological. For movies, make no mistake, are all about mythology, just as George Lucas, Frank Capra, and creator Frank Capra, or the creators of the Batman. Can I ask you a question? Do
Mhm.
you think that seeing a movie on the small screen is um, worse or better for you personally?
I really feel like it depends on context, really.
Mhm.
Like, for example, I still believe that DreamWorks Trolls movies should be experienced in the theater. However, it doesn't lessen the experience if you're watching from home.
Right on. Yeah. See, me personally, I have no gripes about it either way. Like I'm just like straight up like I could watch it on my phone. I'd be like, whatever
That
about it.
that's the same with me, but I feel like sometimes there's kind of like that like context of yeah, like this is a you could tell why this is a theatrical experience.
Right on. So, when it comes to the question of what exactly movies are going to look like, this is not talking about the subscribership. I'm sorry. I thought this was you give me 2 more
Well,
minutes.
that's okay because we could just talk about it in our own kind
Hold
of
on,
little
I just this I think it's in this last paragraph because I have things that I want to talk about it with. I thought this would give us a little more context. This is so embarrassing for me. Anyways, okay, but when a Netflix had its bad Q1, losing subscribers, and also for the first time falling below 50% of market share for the streaming world, the largeness of their mythology was revealed to be kind of a man behind the curtain fantasy. No, it turned out their famous submer submergent of choices, dominated by a high percentage of mediocre product, was not going to take over the world. Netflix was not going to be replacing movies. There were, of course, other services, other choices, but more than that, the choice of staying home to watch a movie was not going to feel so dang dictated, as the pivotal research group analysis Jeff noted. Streaming appears nearly fully penetrated globally post COVID. Then he goes on, streaming, in other words, is here to stay, but it's not necessarily going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm just gonna, let's see, which require their own mythology to survive. All right, I'm gonna end reading this article just because I just feel like, I'm sorry, I picked a bad one. I do feel like it.
I mean, I'm glad it talked about movies, one aspect of the service.
Yeah. So, so when it comes to this, um, I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask you, but okay, so they're going to about lose about 2 million subscribers. Are you going to be one of them?
Um, Not really. And the reason why I say that is, I mean, it's kind of like every other streaming service. They have exclusive deals with exclusive companies. So if you the moment I would say like the moment you say, "Oh, well, I'm pulling the plug on Netflix," the next minute they're going to be like, "Oh, well, we just bought this IP to a thing you like. You got to go over to Netflix and watch it there." So it's like there are like those like pros and cons if you were to do it, but right now, no.
Right on. Do you think why do you think they've lost so many subscribers?
I think it's just simply because back when like the I would say like the early 2010s, they were a pretty good alternative. If you didn't want to get Hulu and watch a new episode right after it aired the following day and you just wanted the full season, Netflix got you covered.
Right.
But over the course of time, they started to remove TV shows from certain networks. I think Fox was the first to pull the plug on a lot of their shows. Then it was ABC. I think they were probably the first to do it, and then NBC. And a lot of them just dropped their stuff on Hulu. So whatever show you were interested in, or there was a show you wanted to watch, but you're like, I'm gonna wait till Netflix. You couldn't really do that.
Right on.
So that's why a lot of people definitely abandoned ship to Hulu because that's where all of the big network television shows were dropping their shows.
Right on. Yeah, plus like I think one thing is there's only so many people in the world that you can, have as your subscriber base. And I think also what didn't help them was like stuff, and this article mentioned it, was like password sharing. Password sharing can be, kind of a thing. I wanted to ask you, I mentioned, and they mentioned here about password sharing. Do you think that in light of this, that Netflix is going to start really cutting down on
I'm gonna
password
be honest
sharing?
with you. I think that's BS
Okay.
because they've always said, "Oh, we're gonna do something with passwords." Ooh, and everyone gets scared, and then nothing happens. I don't see them ever doing that because even they know that's gonna be marketing suicide for them because HBO Max and everyone else has ability to share passwords and stuff.
Right
And
on.
you don't and they do have big subscriber bases, but you don't see them getting scared about money like that.
Right on. And then I was going to ask you one more thing. Um Yeah, I don't know if they're going to cut down on the password sharing. If they do, I mean, I don't have any problems with that because I mean, I pay for mine, so it'll be fine for me. And then, but I think I don't know if I mean a small piece of me wants to think that they would start doing that just because they would want to um uh get that money flowing back in because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders. And for me personally, I'm just like, you know, whatever. I also wanted to ask you, I'm sorry, I'm messing with my screen here. Okay, so they also have said that they are looking into doing ads and having a lesser fee, but you have to deal with ads, kind of like they do on Hulu. A, do you think they'll do it? And B, if they do it, I said do. Would you do the ad experience, or would you just keep your no ad experience at the larger price? And what do you think is a good ad price, like a lesser price, but there's ads?
Um, I don't really know. Like how much would you say?
For the lower price but with ads?
Yeah.
Listen, I find ads extremely annoying, so I'm going to say $7.99 at most.
Okay, I'll go with with $7.99 plus tax.
Because like I find ads to be the most annoying thing on the planet. Like I would rather like I will pay you $30 a month for not to deal with ads. They are so fucking obnoxious. Like Hulu, when I had Hulu, I had the ad one and they played like the same ad every break. I'm like, can you please just throw in like a Subaru commercial or something? I can't remember what it was, but I'm just like, I have seen this commercial. I think I could repeat this commercial back to you. I'm like, please play something else. I don't
Here's the
care.
issue with it. You'd be
Mhm.
kind of shocked though. The ads are very heavily inspired by what you look up on your search history
Oh,
for
is
your
it?
internet.
Oh, well, I guess well, I think it was like I want to say it was like for pants, so maybe it was because I do look up clothes a lot. Um,
And also demographic wise.
hmm.
Um, when
Do
I had
you
when I
go
had
ahead?
Peacock,
Hmm.
I had the ad one, and like I will agree, like they kept repeating ads, but when they didn't, it wasn't bad. Like you're still getting what you want at the end of the day. So it's like, yeah, you got to put up with the ads, but like as long as there's variety and you're not seeing the same ads over and over again, then I think it's okay.
Right on. Would you do the ad version or would you'd be like, no, I'm not interested in this ad version. I want
Depends.
okay. And then do you think they'll do it? Do you think they'll do it?
I could see them doing it mostly because before some HBO Max shows or movies, they promote other stuff before the thing even begins. So I can see them doing that. Plus, also at the same time, them utilizing the coming soon area as a good means of promoting other things. So I could see it working out in the end, since like they kind of got means of implementing it.
Right on. And then do you sorry, I'm like messing with this. Do you I think I already asked you, would you get the ad one? Did I ask
Again,
you?
just really depends.
Gotcha. Okay. So another thing that they had in here was talking about mediocre content. Now, I'll admit Netflix does have some pretty crappy stuff on their thing. There's some entertaining crappy stuff, but there's some really good stuff on there. Like there's some good high production value stuff. Do you think that the high production value stuff, like say like the extractions, the Stranger Things and everything, do you think those will go down in quality? And if they do go down in quality, do you think they'll lose more subscribers because of it?
For that, that just more depends on writing.
Okay.
And we talked about that with CW's The Flash. So it just depends on writing and also the person and their taste and whether or not they're still invested. So it just boils down to that.
Do you think they'll
Mediocre content,
go
I
ahead?
can't fully agree to that. Like, yeah, there are some duds, but the issue I have with Netflix is, and especially with their family section, and that's just mostly because I don't watch too many adult shows on Netflix. Um, but like if you go to the family section, and especially the live action shows, it's a disaster
Mm-hmm.
because they only buy a show, and it may last a season or get canceled after two. So
Okay.
more so the issue is more so quantity over quantity when it comes down to their Netflix originals.
Gotcha. Um, do oh, do you think that there's going to be a lot more like because they originally said that they were like firing some people, especially like from animation and stuff like that. Do you think we're going to hear some more firings in the very near future?
Yes, considering everything with hashtag New Deal for animation, which I strongly agree for, animation it's a mess, and it's not just a Netflix problem. It's every streaming service. I don't know about HBO Max too well with their animation department,
Hmm.
but in terms of all of them, they pretty much get like a whole batch of like one season done, and then they
Mhm.
split the episodes. Like one season could have like 12 episodes. The second season could have 4 episodes.
Right on.
And at the end of the day, they're not really seasons. They're just split up episodes and they just call it seasons. And at the same time, animators and other people working don't get enough pay as they would for, say, television or anywhere else. So, and not to mention live action counterparts such as TV and movies. So it's a disaster in the animation area, but they canceled a lot of good projects
Mm.
and a lot of good talent that have left because they said, "Yep, we're canceling your project."
Right on. Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Yeah, I don't, do you see Netflix sticking around in this streaming war, or do you think that they'll be the first victim?
I'm going to be honest. I still believe that Peacock will be the first victim, if anything else.
Yeah, because
Um,
isn't that free? Isn't that free?
no, it's not free. You got to
Oh,
pay
it's
for
not free.
that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
you got to pay for that. I think what's going to happen to Netflix is more than likely, I feel like I could still see them doing original content still. And I could still see them picking up other things from other companies. Um, but I think probably we'll see probably less shows that are original by them and probably more from other companies, whatever companies that really want to dump their IP or their studio over to Netflix.
Right on. And then yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll ever be like, like go away.
I just think it's just going to be just kind of just more budgetary things, just
Yeah.
more
Yeah, yeah, because they're just throwing out
them doing
cash
less
left and
stuff.
right. Like, and it's like, calm it down. Like, why are you guys spending so much money on this? It's not even like they spent. I think I read that they spent 30 million an episode of the new season of Stranger Things, and I'm all like, that is so much money. Like,
Right,
so you can make a whole movie with 30 million. I mean, granted, it wouldn't be like the best movie ever, but I mean, you could still make a movie, like a horror
right.
movie or something. I'm like, man,
And I will say the one thing and the reason why I can't see them ever going away is because of is because of that exclusivity.
mm-hmm,
Like for example, if you want to watch the new Sonic Prime show, you got to subscribe to Netflix. You're not going to find that anywhere else.
right on.
Unless you live in another region that does not have Netflix, you'll be able to watch that on TV easily, but if you live in the US, then yeah, you're going to have to buy Netflix for that.
Right on. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not I don't see myself getting rid of my Netflix um subscription anytime soon. They haven't done anything so far that's really like upset me. So I yeah. Even when they did that Cuties movie, I was like, well, like it wasn't that great of a movie, and it was kind of bad,
I
I was,
completely boycotted it, but yeah,
yeah,
I'm not supporting that.
I'm just like, if you're obviously not interested in that content, just skip that. Just skip that and everything. They should have not bought it, but I can see, they're probably like, well, we just need content and everything. Um, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I don't either.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening to us talk about the Netflix and their subscriber situation. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode and everything, and we hope you come back for some more. And we will see you then. You guys have a good one. Bye.